What if I told you that the most significant events in our lives, society and markets are fundamentally unpredictable? Welcome to a world where black swans exist. In the realm of probabilities, there lies a book that has challenged our traditional ways of understanding the world. The Black Swan, The Impact of the Highly Improbable, by Nassim Nicholas Taleb. This book isn't about a rare bird species, but about a concept that is as elusive as it is impactful. The Black Swan theory revolves around the impact of highly improbable, unpredictable events. A Black Swan event is something that no one sees coming, but after it happens, everyone claims they saw it coming. It's an event that carries a massive impact, often changing the course of history. It's the dot-com bubble of the late 90s, the financial crisis of 2008, or even the global pandemic we're currently battling. The Black Swan theory challenges the very bedrock of fields like economics, finance, and risk analysis. These domains often rely on past data to predict future events, operating under the illusion that the future can be forecasted. But black swans, by their very nature, are outliers. They lie beyond the realm of normal expectations, and no amount of past data can account for them. Our minds, trained to seek patterns and create narratives, struggle to comprehend the randomness and uncertainty that black swan events bring. We're comfortable in our predictable little bubbles, but the Black Swan theory forces us to confront the uncomfortable truth. Our understanding of the world is fundamentally limited. This book, with its compelling arguments and thought-provoking insights, compels us to reevaluate how we perceive the world around us. It invites us to look beyond the ordinary, to question the predictable, and to embrace the improbable. In a world where we're constantly trying to predict the future, the Black Swan theory serves as a stark reminder of the inherent unpredictability of life. It shatters our illusions of predictability, leaving us with a profound understanding of the world's uncertainties. Our understanding of the world is limited, and the Black Swan theory is here to shatter our illusions of predictability. In a world ruled by black swans, what we don't know is more important than what we do know. This statement may seem paradoxical, but it's the essence of Nassim Nicholas Taleb's argument in The Black Swan, The Impact of the Highly Improbable. Taleb asserts that we as a society are often blindsided by the power of the improbable because of our deep-seated reliance on standard statistical models. These models, which form the backbone of our understanding of the world, are built on normal distribution curves, averages, and the presumption of predictability. They work well for the commonplace, the expected, the regular. But they falter when it comes to the outliers, the extraordinary, the black swans. The danger lies not merely in their inability to predict these black swan events, but in their false assurance that such events are so unlikely that they can be safely ignored. We are lulled into a sense of security, believing in the safety of the average and the predictable. This is where we stumble. Let's consider the financial crisis of 2008, a classic example of a black swan event. It was an economic catastrophe of such magnitude that it shook the world. Yet it was an event that standard models failed to foresee. Why? Because these models were built on the assumption of stability and predictability. They couldn't account for the highly improbable yet hugely impactful event that the crisis was. The models didn't factor in the possibility of such severe market instability, leading to a catastrophic failure in prediction. This is the power of the improbable. It upturns our understanding, disrupts our predictions, and shatters our models. It's not that these models are useless, but that they are ill-equipped to handle the force of the improbable, the unexpected, the black swan. In a world where the improbable can have such a significant impact, we must re-evaluate our reliance on these traditional models. We must accept their limitations, question their assurances, and acknowledge the existence and potential impact of black swan events. In the face of the improbable, our traditional models are not just inadequate, they are dangerously misleading. We humans are storytellers, but not every story reflects the truth. This is a key concept in Nassim Nicholas Taleb's groundbreaking work, The Black Swan, The Impact of the Highly Improbable. Taleb introduces two fascinating ideas here: the narrative fallacy and silent evidence. The narrative fallacy is a flaw in our thinking. We love stories. We love to weave complex events, random facts, and scattered data into a cohesive narrative that makes sense to us. It's how we make sense of the world around us. It's how we connect the dots. But here's the catch. Our love for stories can lead us astray. When we face complex events, our brains instinctively seek patterns and explanations. We crave clarity and coherence, so we create stories. We look back at what happened and construct a narrative that explains it all. We say this led to that, which caused this, and so here we are. It's neat, it's tidy, but it's often flawed. The problem with the narrative fallacy is that it oversimplifies the complexity of reality. It ignores the role of randomness and chance. It underestimates the influence of unforeseeable events. It assumes that because things happened in a certain way, they were bound to happen that way. But that's not always the case. Sometimes things just happen. Sometimes there's no neat and tidy explanation. Sometimes there's no story to tell. And that brings us to the concept of silent evidence. Silent evidence is the data we overlook, the facts we ignore, the events we dismiss because they don't fit into our narratives. It's the evidence that stays silent because we're not listening. Silent evidence is everywhere. It's in the success stories we idolize, the failures we scorn, the trends we follow, and the predictions we make. It's in the history books we read, the news reports we watch, and the social media feeds we scroll through. It's the data that contradicts our beliefs, challenges our assumptions, and disrupts our narratives. So, what can we do about the narrative fallacy and silent evidence? Taleb suggests that we must question our stories. We must scrutinize our narratives, challenge our assumptions, and seek out the silent evidence. We must be willing to admit that we don't know everything, that our understanding is incomplete, that our stories are flawed. We must embrace uncertainty, acknowledge complexity, and accept randomness. We must be open to the possibility of black swans, the highly improbable, unforeseeable events that can have a significant impact. We must learn to see the world as it is, not as we want it to be. We must question our stories and seek the silent evidence. Only then can we begin to see the black swans. If we can't predict black swans, what can we do? This question, posed by Nassim Nicholas Taleb, is the very essence of embracing uncertainty. In his fascinating work, The Black Swan, The Impact of the Highly Improbable, Taleb strongly advocates for the need to focus on robustness to negative events rather than futile attempts at prediction. He argues that our world is filled with unpredictability, dominated by rare and extreme events, the so-called black swans. These events are impossible to predict, yet they have a profound impact on our lives. Trying to forecast these happenings, according to Taleb, is not only impossible but also detrimental. It gives us a false sense of security and leaves us unprepared when the unpredictable strikes. Instead, Taleb suggests that we should focus on becoming robust to these negative events. He introduces the concept of anti-fragility, a term he coined himself. Anti-fragility is beyond resilience or robustness. The resilient resists shocks and stays the same. The anti-fragile gets better with shocks, volatility, and uncertainty. In other words, it's the ability to benefit from disorder and uncertainty. Imagine a hydra, the mythological creature that grows two heads every time one is cut off. That's anti-fragility in action. It's not about avoiding harm, but rather about using it to your own advantage, growing stronger and more capable with each challenge faced. Taleb contends that we should strive to be anti-fragile in every aspect of our lives, in our personal growth, our careers, and in our approach to risk management. It's about being open to randomness, embracing volatility, and understanding that our world is governed by uncertainty. So how do we become anti-fragile? It begins with a mindset shift. It's about seeing uncertainty as an opportunity rather than a threat. It's about being adaptable, flexible, and ready to change at a moment's notice. It's about embracing the unknown, the unexpected, and using it to fuel our growth and evolution. In a world of black swans, it's not about predicting the storm, but learning how to dance in the rain. Let's embrace the uncertainty, the disorder, the chaos. For it's in these moments of unpredictability that we find our true strength, our true potential. Let's learn to dance in the rain. The Black Swan is not just a theory, but a new way of seeing the world. Its impact reverberates across various domains, from risk analysis to philosophy, altering how we perceive and interpret the unexpected. The book's resonance with readers stems from its audacious challenge to our conventional understandings. It compels us to question our perceptions and assumptions, shaking the very foundations of our belief systems. In the realm of risk analysis, it calls for robustness against the improbable, advocating for systems that can withstand, even thrive amidst, the unforeseen. In philosophy, it provides insights into the inherent nature of the world, a world characterized by randomness and unpredictability. Its broader influence lies in its call to adapt. It implores us to embrace the power of the improbable, to accept the uncertainty that defines our existence. The Black Swan teaches us to question, to adapt, and to embrace the power of the improbable. In a world of uncertainty, these are lessons we cannot afford to ignore.